Hello guys, it is that panda again. I'm here again with another video, and today we are looking at the second part of this Tower Swarm fiasco. And I will say that this is the last video for the H&V Boon situation, and there will be some random clips from Island Raid, just different brackets, but this is mostly the end of the G1 for this time around. So I do hope you guys have enjoyed my stupid commentary and stuff. But yeah, let's hop into it. So, to start off, I guess we're getting swarmed down here. We were just able to keep this thing full, so Lewis was a good option for us. We were able to just melt and all that. But we were actually struggling kind of. I mean, we popped the skill, which makes your thing go from 1.5 to actually 1.8 million capacity. So the trades that we were taking were marginally better than if we didn't pop that, which was so good that I didn't pop it on the first day because I was very tempted to pop it on day one when we were taking on swarms kind of near our village and stuff. But luckily I'd never popped it, and we ended up popping it here, and this made for a really good few hours of just tanking and tanking and tanking. It was painful as well, I'll say that much. And at the end of this video as well, there will be tower swarms, and it'll mainly just be me defending because our alliance had already evacuated the majority of the players, and we had been waiting and we were leaving the whales only to kind of cover the evacuation. That being said, we do have some pretty good reports here, and it was honestly a good, enjoyable island on my part, and we had them actually rallying and swarming two different towers consecutively, but we managed to somehow hold them both up. I think we just had a pretty good group managing both towers, like, tier 4 and tier 5 players, just filling them, which was pretty nice. Thankfully, no tier 6 players, or at least very few of them, unless they were just crazy and wanted to die. We're really filling these towers, which just made it, easier to preserve our whales and just our field players' energies. Guys, I don't know if you've noticed my vast amount of resources in the top right corner, but honestly, I was very poor throughout this island and I was struggling. I was burning through hundreds of millions of my tokens, and I don't know about some whales, that might not be very much, but in my case, it was very painful. But besides the lack of speed ups that I have throughout this event, I was forced to play so passive compared to what I'm, used to. Of course, I still have to play somewhat smart, but here I burn out way sooner, and just the amount of whales here is absolutely insane, and they can just, go for freaking ages, right? And it makes it a very hard job for me. Obviously, it's still very fun for me nonetheless, but it was not easy. That's the point. And I had to play way more passive. I had to play for really good trades, and I just had to play extremely smart in that regard. But that being said, I think we are about to look at some reports, in maybe a minute. I'm pretty sure it's not showing for me, but yeah, I don't know, man. You also see me going for little picks on these marches, trying to reinforce the rallies. I was doing the best I could with just one march because, I think it's definitely harder to control multiple marches throughout these very few bases. So I was just trying to use a rider march so that I could get in and out real quick and take really small picks of these marches and try to take advantage of, I guess, just them being alone, right? And then this kind of forces Envy to actually camp over here and kind of camp the bases on the way to where the marches are coming from. And I feel like although, this is just to be really annoying and kind of force them to play as I guess in the most annoying way possible, right? You force them to sit on these bases. You force them to watch every march that's trying to cut off people. It's honestly such an inconvenient way and just an annoying way to play, right? Like, who wants to spend maybe hours just freaking bopping marches, right? It's very annoying, and I think that's what we were really trying to do, just get on his nerves. It's also a really good way to burn someone out. It's not very fun if you're waddling around hitting people's marches and you're just bopping through bases and they're chasing you down. I mean, maybe for some people that's fun, but I think if I was kind of forced in that situation, I'd be like, dude, why am I having to sit here for freaking hours holding these marches? And you would notice actually very regularly they would go AFK on the field because I think they just didn't want to stare at their screen for hours, right? Just watching people's marches walk by, and they would AFK a lot, and then you could take advantage of that, hop against the march, go crazy, and then the second you notice they're back or they're looking at their screen, you pop back in a base. It's honestly it was really fun, honestly, for defense. And now we are looking at these very gnarly reports. Like, oh my gosh, dude! I didn't expect the reports to be so devastating, right? Like I definitely expected us to trade way worse than this, and this might just be a factor of them not recalling because like I feel that when your March hits around 50%, you really should be refreshing them, but these guys let them just go until they died, right? And obviously if your March is smaller, you're gonna be taking worse trades. So I feel like these guys 1,000,000% should have been trying to refresh their marches every time it hit 50%, recall it, send it again, because for example, if you have 300k troops, you're obviously trading way better at the top of your peak, but once you hit like 100k troops, you're clearly going to be trading negative, right? Obviously against a full tower, that is a given, and them just trying to go for an endurance fight there is a no bueno. They really have to be refreshing those marches at 50%. And I mean, still, we might have been trading positive even if they didn't refresh them constantly, but I feel like they would have been way closer to trading even in those cases. And now you're going to be looking at a little bit of field brawling. I guess we were just going for little picks. We caught this dude kind of following us outside of the territory. He was alone, and we just ganked up on them. And I guess they just kept throwing people out here. And at this point in time, we're obviously going to be trading really positive with the vast amount of troops we have in the field in comparison. But I noticed that they started sending more and more and more and more people out. And this is when we start pulling back, or at least I started pulling back. Obviously, you guys, like I said earlier, I have very limited speed ups and resources. So I'm not jumping into a brawl that is going to end with me being totally obliterated, and I feel like we're losing in the numbers game here. So I try to just go in for little picks. I'm waiting for a moment where I feel like they're actually kind of winning trades on our side. Like I just leave this to our whales to fight it out. Because, dude, I'm not going to be hopping into a field brawl like this. I'm not stupid, and I'm not going to play like an idiot. But yeah, I noticed that we start winning. We kind of get the numbers advantage. I get some picks, and then we start also losing numbers again because obviously a lot of our people refreshing over here are further away, and a lot of these guys are able to just teleport in because they had nobody really close to this area of the zone, and it's not as easy for us. So refreshing is much harder, and fighting so close in their territory as well is just bad. We're giving them territory bonuses and all that. It's just, I don't know, man. I feel like our players need to back up, but I also think that our whales just didn't care and just wanted to go running into their territory like madmen. But yeah, I mean, we do. I think we still do trade actually positive here, nonetheless. We had a few maniacs who just didn't care and charged into their territory, but yeah, overall it was pretty enjoyable, and I feel like I got pretty good trades at least. And now I think this is going to be around the end time of us defending towers, at least at this point in time. There will be tower defenses, of course, by me solely, but right now, I think this part of the island should be coming to an end soon. Just rallies. I sped up the footage a buttload so you guys wouldn't have to suffer for obviously like an hour, just tower fights. Oh my gosh, guys. I feel like our big issue here is we just can't push the field, right? We don't want to push when there's too many whales. We just lack in the numbers. And I feel like even Nam, he was out for a full day one time. And I mean, I think he just had real life stuff going on. But it was just so hard because we couldn't really coordinate as much as we wish we could have. But we did have our moments where we were able to kind of push the field, take advantage of, just a few T6 players, kind of slaughter them real quick. And I mean, we managed to, drop this rally, for example. But overall, we just gave up the field. We just defended our towers, and we just left it to tower defenses. And I think obviously we traded well, but I do wish that we were able to kind of push the field a bit more, with numbers and stuff. But it was kind of hard because they just had overwhelming whales in the field, and even if we pushed the field and cleared their whales, it's like they would just send another batch. And more reports. These freaking healing bills were absolutely tasty. I was enjoying myself as I used up my freaking reserves of speed ups that could have been used on freaking research. But yeah, okay, this is after evacuating players and stuff. So basically we had our players get evacuated, because we wanted to make sure everybody was safe and such. So we kind of just got everybody out. We had our whales stay behind, and finally our whales started porting out, thankfully, when everybody was safe. And I ended up solo defending this tower, right? And we popped a garrison captain in here, we threw some troops in here, and I feel like a lot of people just swarmed it who weren't fit to swarm this tower because they saw I mean, maybe they just thought, okay, let me swarm this tower just because. I don't really know. Maybe they just got hit with the heat of the moment. But these trades were disgusting and they really shouldn't have swarmed, especially for as long as they did. And you'll see it in these reports, but it was nasty. And even with another tower after this, they just had so many people swarm, and there were some people who were just spam tapping a tower, and I would hop into it, try to get some easy kills. Because I mean, why would you spam tap a tower like that? You're just asking for me to defend that tower. Just don't be crazy like that. But yeah, man, these trades just not worth it, man. It's not worth it. And thankfully, actually, Envy and Hands had stopped swarming, because I actually don't think that we would have traded positive, no matter the case, against Envy or Hand swarms. I just feel like the reports would be very, very hard to trade positive on. And on these towers, by the way, I start to actually recall my marches all at once, because I just wanted to drop the towers at some point, because I was like, dude, there's no way for me to defend this, just two accounts. I thought it might have been possible, but honestly, I couldn't keep up with the healing. We didn't have enough online to actually kind of clear my hospitals for my accounts. So I didn't want to just start wasting a ton of speed ups. Though I will say I got a ton of good reports. I got a ton of good kills, and I got a good ton of good kill points. But at some point, I just couldn't maintain these towers, and I just started spamming to stop filling it. And I backed it to another tower. Same situation happened, and I just tried to get some really good trades before I backed out of island. That being said, I was not defending with my Pandy account. I couldn't even clear my hospital, so it was out of the picture, and I didn't want to risk actually trading negative here and just losing a ton of troops. But I was using my accounts that hadn't gotten enough points, and I have point requirements here I had to hit. I also want to mention real quick, while looking at this tower that's getting swarmed right now, Lewis and Peterson, like I said before, I think it's actually a really good combo, but in this case, it didn't work because we didn't have the actual numbers to keep this thing full. And since it melts way faster, I wasn't really thinking about the fact that I'm actually struggling to keep the thing full. So I was pulling out really fast. And I want to mention that I hit Envy's freaking troops by accident. I was trying to freaking tap on my base, but I missed, and I tapped on his march, and it was painful. And I think this is about, just going to be a ton of swarm reports about to come up. These ones were a little bit more mediocre. I think we, still traded pretty well on most of these. And I think there was just an instance where a tier 1 player, someone sent like a ton of tier 1 though, at one of our towers. And I was like, dude, why? Like, why are you sending me 100 or like 200k? I think tier 1 just died on a tower. I might be wrong, but I'm like 99% sure that happened. And I was startled, guys. I was actually startled. And yeah, I mean, I think the rest of this should just be reports, nothing really else to the video, just going to be a ton of reports, and disgusting ones at that. I think there's one report where I trade extremely negative. I think it was like 2 million might, like for 100k, and I don't know how I traded that bad on one report, but I did trade that bad on one report, and it was gross. But I think some of the other ones make up for it, so I can't say I really can complain. Though it did not feel good. Right there, guys. Okay, that was a rally, actually. That makes sense. The rally is the thing that traded so good, and I guess the swarm just got melted after that. I don't know why some of these players decided to swarm the tower, because the rally would have traded pretty well, and they kind of made the rally, like the value of the rally, just worse because they swarmed. Like, why did you swarm, man? Don't swarm if you're not Envy, okay? If you're not Envy or Hands or like Whiskey Dog, don't be swarming this thing. I feel like some people look at a tower and they just think of it like a death wish, like I wish I could go slam my head against this thing and see how fast I get a hole in my head and I bleed out. But yeah, that is about it to the video, though. I think, I hope you guys enjoyed my stupid commentary, even if it's sometimes just total garbage. But yeah, that is it to the video, though. And you guys have a good day or night, though. And I really do appreciate you guys, as always, for watching the video. And peace!